Today on the channel, we'll be unboxing the Princess of Power here on Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Newman, and today we'll be unboxing Shera from Mattel's Masters of the Universe cartoon collection line. This 1/12 scale figure stands 5.5 inches in height, is made of plastic, contains up to 16 points of articulation, and comes with a sword of protection, a shield, and a mini comic. Now, before we start unboxing, it would be appreciated if you were to like this video just by clicking that thumbs up, not the one on the actual video, the one underneath the video. And also, subscribe if you do like this video. It really helps my algorithm out so I can continue to spread my bad dad jokes to millions of viewers throughout YouTube land, both the willing and the unwilling. So I happened to buy these figures from Amazon as a pre-order. Initially, I ordered them from Big Bad Toy Store, but I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to save a few bucks. If I know I'm gonna open up a figure, I'll order from Amazon because the package, well, you know, it doesn't matter. Ironically, this package came in pristine condition. And what a package it is! Looks very nice. It looks like on the back we've got all the accessories listed, as well as the other figures in this wave, all of which I got from Amazon. On the front we've got Shera, obviously, cartoon collection logo, a great Newcastle Grayskull color scheme, as well as the 40th anniversary logo for Shera. Super. And here's some wonderful art. Look at it. It's beauteous. Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get this thing ready to open up. Alright, so I'm going to try and gingerly open this up as much as possible with my fat fingers. It ain't gonna be pretty. Yeah. It is what it is. This is Rip It Open with Newman, not gingerly open it up with Newman. So yeah, there you go. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and get the shield out of here, and the sword as well, which looks to be secured with some plastic straps. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and break out my trusty X-Acto knife and get this thing cut open. Just do a little snip snip here, a little snip snip there. A little elective surgery never hurt anybody. Alright, get the sword out of the way so we can take a look at Shera herself. Alright, and here we go. So this is a wonderful likeness of the animated Shera character. It looks really good. All in the typical cartoon collection style. It's the same relative body as the other female figures. We got the cape, which is also plastic. It's not cloth. I'm good with that. And yeah, it looks good. Oh, those are some high heels, man. Alright, let's go to the articulation. So head goes all the way around. It's a little hindered by the hair, but it does go all the way around. So yeah, you can do the exorcist with it. Arms go up to about there. There are single joints at the elbow, which are pretty good. They're nice and tight. Other ones good as well. Alright, there's a waist twist. Cool beans. Legs go up to about here. Wow, dude, she can really do the splits. And we got single joints at the knees. Alright, looking good. We've got articulation at the ankles. And there's also articulation at the boot. There's a boot cut. I just didn't show it. My apologies. The right wrist has a hinge positioned so that she can hold her sword aloft, whereas the other one is your standard hinge. So your articulation is pretty basic for your cartoon collection or origins figure. I wish the ankles were a little tighter. They're not loose, but I just wish they were a little tighter. I always like tight ankles, but all in all, articulation is good. So along with the figure comes some directions, which show all the modulated pieces for the figure that can come off and you can swap out with your other cartoon collection figures, or origins figures too. They're both interchangeable. Alright, and get that out of the way. So we also have a mini comic that comes with it. On the back it shows the other figures in this particular wave. You can pause it if you want to read it. I guess that might be illegal, so maybe don't. And here we have the shield, which is actually just the sword converted into a shield. I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird that, you know, you get both when it's only supposed to be one thing. But, you know, it's not like you could actually transform the sword into a shield. So, obviously, you would have to have both of them. And here's the sword itself. It looks really good. The sculpt is very Filmation accurate. We've got the jewel in here. I do wish the jewel was an actual jewel piece and not just painted solid blue. But that's... I'm asking for a bit much. Yeah, and as you can see, yeah, look, it's the same thing, just in a different form. So the anal part of me would never want to display them both at the same time, but it looks good displaying them both at the same time. So, yeah, whatever. So moving on, let's go ahead and get these weapons inside of her hand. Now, it may just be by imagination, but it feels as though they've switched up the plastic for the hands for the female figures, because this seems like a harder plastic. The hands for both Tila and Evelyn are they're getting a little bit loose. Their weapons are starting to fall out of their hands in my display. So maybe they were getting some complaints and they decided to switch up the plastic. I don't know. It may just be my imagination, and this hand will get loose as well. Hopefully not. But as you can see, because of that different sort of hinge that they have, the same type of hinge joint that they have for the Prince Adam figure, she can hold her sword aloft and look at it for the most part. So yeah, I'm glad they started doing this. I mean, yeah, it's not really Filmation if you can't hold the sword aloft. And we're going to go ahead and get that shield in her hand as well, even though, you know, it's not really canon. And I'm glad that that shield is a good size, because the Tila shield is a little dainty, so I'm glad they didn't skimp out on the size of this shield and made it suitably large. Now, one thing I do want to take a look at, I do want to take a look at the sculpt a little bit better without the cape on it, so I'm just going to get this head right off, and it is on there super tight. So yeah, so if you look at, I really like the sculpt on the collarbone. This looks pretty real. It's more lifelike than I'm used to in your typical Origins or Cartoon Collection figure. So let's get that head back on there. See how she looks without the cape. And yeah, you know what? It ain't a bad look. I don't hate this. Yeah, this is nice. Honestly, she might look a little too much like Tila, so I don't think I'll display her like this. I think that cape really helps differentiate her from the Tila look. But you know, while we got her here, let's go ahead and do some comparisons. Let's start off with Mastersoftheuniverse. Alright, let's get Origins in here. Alright, so as you can see, we've got three very different looks for this figure. The Origins figure being the most different from the three. You know what? I know it's sacrilege to say, but I'm not a big fan of the Origins Shera look. It just looks too, I don't know, too not accurate to the cartoon. And it always bugged me when toys didn't really look like the cartoon. So this is just a personal thing for me. The Mastersoftheuniverse figure does look very similar to it, just with 25% more realness, articulation, and height. One big difference between all three, or rather the Origins from everything else, is that the Origins has a gold sword. I was trying to get a good look, but you can't really see it inside the packaging. But you can see that the Masterverse and the Cartoon Collection both have very similar swords. Although I am a lot more partial to the Masterverse sword because I really like the type of pearlized silver plastic that they use as compared to the one for the Cartoon Collection. I don't know why they went with this one for the Cartoon Collection, because it's completely different than the Prince Adam sword and He-Man sword from Cartoon Collection as well. I don't know why they just didn't use the same silver pearl. I think it makes the sword look a lot more solid, whereas this silver pearl looks a little transparent, a little more flimsy. That's not a hard knock on the figure, just a light tap. Okay, final thoughts. Overall, I think this is a really good figure. I'm a big fan of the Cartoon Collection in general, so I'm already predisposed into liking this figure. It would have to have some serious defective flaws for me not to like it, to be perfectly honest. So you're gonna have to take that with a grain of salt when I say that this is a great looking figure. But you know, look at this thing. It's a great looking figure. Biases be damned. Go out and get this thing. It's really nice, and it's affordable too. It'll be a nice little addition to your collection. It's got some decent articulation. It's pretty well balanced. The accessories are good. We actually have some actual weapons as opposed to those friggin' artifacts that come with all the other Cartoon Collection figures. And if you missed out on the Filmation accurate toys from Super 7 from way back in the day, I say that like it was decades ago. It was less than 10 years. You can now get a Filmation accurate Shera probably just from your local Target or Walmart, or just, you know, order from Amazon. But if you do have the extra money, I would always recommend maybe an Entertainment Earth or a Big Bad Toy Store first, as opposed to the giant corporations. I always want to support the little guy. And when I say little, I mean the slightly less rich giant corporation. So alright folks, that's going to pretty much wrap everything up. I am Rip It Open with Newman on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Lemonade, and TikTok for as long as it's still here. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Hit the bell for notifications, and I will check you later.